Hey everybody, Haley True here again with Diamond McNabb. This time I'm going to take you through a tutorial video for bidding. So this is a test auction, it's not the real deal. However, it's set up almost exactly like the real deal, which will be open at 8 o'clock a.m. Mountain Time on Friday, September 17th, closing on September 19th, which is Sunday at 5 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time. So I want to walk you through a couple things here. Let me just start by saying the only difference from this versus the real thing is that our real auction will tell you reserve not met if that horse has not generated a bid high enough to actually take him home. So that's the only difference. Otherwise, everything we're going to talk about today is exactly how it will be when we go live. Okay, so to get started, two things that you should check. Number one, make sure you're logged in. And in this upper right hand corner that it tells you registered and your paddle number. That'll just tell you that everything is set, the system knows who you are, and that you're able to bid. Number two, you'll notice this blue banner here on my screen that says I have an issue with bid data refreshing. That means that my internet bandwidth is a little bit slow, so I may not be seeing real-time updates. So like the banner says, the fix to that is to refresh your web browser, which means coming up here to the actual web address, telling it enter so that it reloads the entire page. That will ensure that you're actually seeing the live and real-time updates of the bidding as it goes along. So for most of you, I don't think that's going to be a problem, but if you're like us, you live in rural Wi-Fi, or you have really windy days that make your internet slower than usual, that is something that you might need to pay attention to. So watch for the blue browser. If it pops up, make sure you come up here and manually reload your page so that you're seeing real-time updates. Okay, so to get into the bidding process, it's extremely simple and straightforward. So you'll notice every horse has its own button to place bid. If you're interested in that horse, you're confident he fits you, all you have to do is click that button and enter an amount. So something I want to point out here, in this auction, all of the bidding increments are going to be $250 or higher, meaning we're not going to accept bid increment amounts that are less than $250. That's very similar to a live auction scenario, and the reason that anyone does that is that you don't want to drag out the bidding and get stuck in that really tedious zone of like $1.50 bidding wars. So $250 increments if you're trying to increase your bid to get back on top of the bidding on a certain horse. If it's not at least $250 more than the previous person, the system will not accept that. So keep that in mind. When you click this button, then there's a drop-down menu. It's giving you recommendations for $250 increase amounts that you could use, but you don't have to use a drop-down menu. You can also just type in what you want to offer. So I'm going to go ahead and offer $8,000. I'll click bid, it'll refresh my page, and it'll give me an update. So I'm currently winning hip number 1, and what this is telling me in the bold text is that it's only using $5,000 of the amount that I told it could use to keep me on top. So the maximum amount is what I told it could spend if necessary. However, it's not going to spend any more money than necessary to keep me the winning bidder. Right now, I'm the only bidder on hip number 1, so I'm going to go ahead and pause for a second and I'll set up a scenario where someone is bidding against us. Okay, so clearly I'm not the only one who's interested in hip number 1, and it looks like someone else has a little deeper pockets than I was willing to put in for my first bid. So the screen is going to update. It's going to tell me that I've been outbid if that's the case. It'll also tell you how much you bid, and then it will tell you what the current winning bid is. So in order to beat this amount and be back on top, you're going to have to be at least $8,500 to meet that $250 increment. So if I want to do that, I can go ahead and place a bid. It'll tell me what my options are, so I can see I'm going to have to start at least $8,500. I'm not really going to mess around here, so I'm going to go close to my maximum budget. And let's say I'll spend $13,000 on him. So I'll go ahead and make that bid, get it submitted. Oh, and it came back immediately and told me that I'm still outbid. I bid $13,000, but someone else is already immediately willing to bid $13,250. So when that happens immediately, it probably means that someone has already put in a maximum amount that is higher than yours. Chances are someone's not going to be able to respond in real time that quickly, but remember the system will be bidding for them up to their maximum amount. So I'm going to go ahead and stretch a little bit further on this, and I'm willing to go to a maximum of 14,000 to try and win hip number 1. I'll put that in. Dang it, I'm still outbid. I bid 14,000, someone else is immediately there to beat me. So for the sake of this example, I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, I'm not going to spend any more on hip number 1. I'm going to move down to the next horse on my list. So let's say the next one that I was interested in is hip number 3. The current bid, someone's already bid on him, so I can see that they have an amount of $5,000 down. I'm going to place a bid of $9,000 and see where it gets me. That's clearly not enough. I'm already outbid. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my maximum budget amount of $15,000. Perfect. Good news for me. That makes me the winning bidder. I can see that the system knows I'm willing to spend up to $15,000, and it will do that for me if necessary. But I'm winning currently with the amount of $13,250. So that's as simple as it is. You can just come in here, place your bids using the button, the drop-down menu, or typing in a manual amount. The computer will keep you updated of where you're at. If you have any doubts that it's really up to date, just come up here to the top of your screen and refresh your browser to make sure that you are seeing the latest report in the bidding numbers. A couple folks have asked us the really good question of what happens if you receive a tie. So I will go ahead and set up that simulation for you, and we'll take a look at that. I've gone ahead and done that off the screen, so we're going to use hip number 5 here as the example of what it will look like if you have a tied maximum bid and how the system will handle that. So currently I'm outbid, but I'm going to go ahead and increase my amount so that I know there's a tie, and we'll see what we will find. Immediately you see this red notification pop up at the top of your screen telling you that you didn't bid a necessary amount. So when I go investigate a little bit, here at number 5 it tells me I'm still outbid. It tells me I bid 12,000, but it tells me the current bid is 12,000. What's happening there is 2 people have bid the same amount. Whichever person bid that amount first is going to be the one who has the winning bid. Okay, so all of these bids are going to be recorded by timestamp that we can go in on our side of the office and download the information of when exactly that bid came in. In the event of ties, by the time the auction closes, whoever had that current bid on there first is going to be the one who breaks the tie. If you have questions about that, call and let us know, but that's the way it's set up to go. I'm going to end this first tutorial video here. That gets you through the bidding and what it will look like for the next few days. If I am able, I will put up a second video with the visual of what it looks like when the auction closes. However, it's going to be very simple. I'll just explain it to you here on audio real quick. So what you need to know about the auction's close, each horse will close in hip number order 10 minutes apart from each other. So starting at 5 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time on Sunday evening, hip number 1 will close at 5 p.m., hip number 2 will close at 5:10 p.m., hip number 3 at 5:20 p.m., etc. That is a hard and fast close, so you need to make sure that your best bidding amount is entered on each horse before he closes, because once he closes, there will be no going back. The sale is going to continue its 10-minute staggered close. So please go ahead and just enter your maximum amount by Sunday so that the system can bid for you. It would be incredibly disappointing to have gotten this far into the auction and then be scrambling to make a last-minute adjustment and trying to enter a last-minute bid and get cut off by the closing time. So my recommendation would be enter your maximum right off the bat, let the system bid for you. That'll let you have a much more relaxing and enjoyable experience to get to sit back, watch the bidding, and not have to worry about clicking in there every couple of minutes to make changes. Okay, so to recap that really quickly, every horse will close in hip number order 10 minutes apart. Originally, there had been discussion about maybe adding some extensions. If you had been told that, please note that this video takes precedence. It is now a hard and fast close. So When the timer runs out on a certain horse, he's closed for good. There's no going back on that. But you will have 10 minutes before the next hip number closes, and that will continue to be true all the way down the line until hip number 13 has closed as well. Couple more notes in the closing. It will tell you if you have won or if you have lost on every hip number as it closes. That'll just confirm so that you know exactly where you're at before you decide whether or not to bid on another horse. If you have won, you don't need to contact us right away. It'll be later in the evening. You can go ahead and turn off your computer, head to bed. We will be contacting you Monday morning to arrange payment and to see if there's anything we can help you with to arrange transportation or at least get some leads. For payments, we do not charge the credit card that you use to sign up for the bidder registration. We will contact you directly about that using the phone number and the email address that you put in with your registration. So please go in, make sure that the phone number and the email address for that is the best way to reach you. We can take personal checks that are overnighted to us in the mail. We can do credit card payments with a service fee. We can also do wire transfers, and our accounting office may be able to arrange a couple different options if necessary. So please have that ready on Monday by the time we get a hold of you, and we'll be able to settle the details then. Transportation-wise, we'll keep horses free of charge at the ranch for 1 week following the sale. If you need us to keep them longer to help you get your transportation set, we're perfectly fine with that. We just start charging a daily boarding fee. So the first week is free. You have time to make arrangements or come pick them up yourself. As soon as the horses are paid for, they're cleared to leave the property. Every horse will have a current Coggins, a fresh health inspection, and a brand inspection, which is your Wyoming title to the horse. So as soon as payment is cleared, you'll be good to go. They all have their travel papers, and it should be simple to get you on the road. If you run into any issues or you have questions on any of this, please don't hesitate to give us a call. Our phone number is 307-298-5030, and our email address is listed on our website as well. We'd be happy to help you. Be patient with us. It may take a little bit to get back to you just because of the volume of calls, but we'd be glad to hear from you. With that, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Thank you all so much for being a part of what we do. We sure appreciate the enthusiasm for the program, participation in the auctions, the phone calls and conversations we get throughout the year. Keep in mind that if you don't get a horse this fall, we'll be back in the spring. We're set for our sale on the first Saturday of June, as always, and we have a really good group of horses that we're getting ready to bring to you then. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate you guys, and we hope you have a great weekend.